Congress just passed a nationwide block on suppressor and SBR taxes, and a complete registry shutdown could be next. If you own either of these items or plan to buy one, what I am about to tell you in the next 8 minutes could save you $200 per item and protect your privacy forever. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed yet? Because what's happening right now in Washington is the biggest shift in NFA law since 1934, and if you miss the follow-up videos I have planned, you could lose out on thousands of dollars in savings. 90% of gun owners have no idea this is even happening. Don't be one of them. Hit that subscribe button right now so you catch every update as this unfolds. All right, let's get into what just happened. Congress passed legislation that blocks the ATF from collecting the $200 tax stamp fee on suppressors and short-barreled rifles. That S the fee you've been paying every single time you wanted to legally own one of these items. For decades, that $200 tax has been the gatekeeping mechanism that kept millions of Americans from exercising their Second Amendment rights. But as of this new bill, that gate just got blown wide open. Now, let me be clear about what this means for you. If you have been sitting on the fence about buying a suppressor to protect your hearing or getting an SBR for home defense, you just got handed a massive green light. No more $200 barrier. No more waiting months while your money sits in government limbo. This is a total game changer, and here's why it matters more than you think. First thing you need to understand is how we got here. The National Firearms Act of 1934 created this tax as a way to make certain firearms and accessories so expensive that average Americans couldn't afford them. Back then, $200 was equivalent to about $4,000 today. Think about that. The government literally priced people out of their rights. For 90 years, this tax survived every legal challenge, every congressional session, every administration. Until now. Second, this isn't just about the money. Even though saving $200 per item is huge, this is about the principle. When you had to pay that tax, you also had to submit fingerprints, photographs, and wait for the ATF to approve your application. That process turned a constitutional right into a privilege you had to beg permission for. With the tax eliminated, the entire justification for that invasive process starts to crumble. And that brings us to the even bigger news. The same legislators who pushed this tax block through are now working on a complete registry shutdown. Let me explain what that means. Right now, every suppressor and SBR you buy gets recorded in the National Firearms Registration and Transfer Record. That's the ATF's database of who owns what. Gun rights advocates have been fighting to eliminate this registry for decades because it was essentially a government list of gun owners and their property. The fear has always been that if the political winds shift, that list could be used for confiscation or targeting. Here's the part that shocked me when I first learned about it. The registry block bill that's being pushed right now would not only stop new registrations, it would also seal existing records. That means if you already own registered suppressors or SBRs, your information would be locked away from future access. No more centralized database, no more government tracking. Just you and your property, the way the founders intended. But here's the crazy part. This legislation is moving fast, but it's not law yet. The tax block passed Congress, but it still needs to survive any potential legal challenges and implementation hurdles. The registry shutdown is in committee right now, and it needs massive public support to make it to a vote. That's where you come in, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do in just a minute. Let me break down the timeline for you, because this is critical. The tax block is expected to take effect within 60 to 90 days after the president signs it. That signature could happen any day now. Once it's active, the ATF will be prohibited from collecting the $200 fee on new applications. However, this is important, applications that are already in process will likely still require the fee. So if you submitted your paperwork and paid before the law takes effect, you're probably not getting a refund. The ATF doesn't work that way. Now, quick legal note, this is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation, especially if you're in a state with additional restrictions on suppressors or SBRs. For the registry shutdown, the timeline is less certain. The bill is gaining momentum, but it faces opposition from anti-gun groups who claim that eliminating the registry will make it harder to track crime guns. That argument is nonsense for several reasons. First, suppressors and SBRs are almost never used in crimes. FBI statistics show that these items are involved in less than 1% of all gun-related crimes. Second, criminals don't register their weapons anyway. The registry only affects law-abiding citizens who follow the rules. Third, and this is the kicker, over a dozen states already don't require any registration for firearms, and their crime rates are no higher than registry states. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you and I'll learn in my next video where I sneeze about breaking down the 5 states that are trying to block this federal law and what you can do if you live in one of them. Subscribe right now so you don't miss it, because if you're in California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, or New Jersey, you need to know what's coming. Here's what most people get wrong about this entire situation. They think that because the tax is eliminated, suppressors and SBRs will suddenly become unregulated like regular rifles. That's not true. These items are still classified as NFA firearms, which means you still need to follow federal law when buying them. You still need to go through a licensed dealer. You still need to pass a background check. The difference is you won't have to pay the $200 extortion fee. And if the registry block passes, your name won't end up in a government database. Let me give you a hypothetical example to explain this. Imagine you walk into your local gun shop next month after the tax block takes effect. You see a suppressor you want for your AR-15. Here's what the process will look like. You fill out the ATF Form 4, just like before. You submit your information for a background check, just like before. But instead of writing a $200 check to the Treasury Department, you skip that step entirely. The dealer processes your paperwork, the ATF runs your background check, and assuming you're not a prohibited person, you walk out with your suppressor. No tax, no waiting for a tax stamp, just a straightforward purchase like buying any other firearm accessory. Now multiply that across the millions of gun owners who have been priced out of suppressors and SBRs. We're talking about a massive surge in demand. Manufacturers are already ramping up production because they know what's coming. Prices on the actual items might drop due to increased competition and volume. This could be the golden age of NFA items, and it's happening right now. But wait, there's something even more important than just buying new stuff. If you already own registered suppressors or SBRs, the registry shutdown could protect you in ways you haven't even considered. Think about this. Right now, if you move to a new state, you have to notify the ATF and update your registration. If you sell an NFA item, you have to transfer it through the registry. Every time you interact with that system, you're creating more paperwork, more records, more potential for government overreach. With a registry shutdown, those requirements disappear. You own your property free and clear, without Big Brother looking over your shoulder. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the 50,000 gun owners who get these updates first and never miss a critical legal change. Click subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you're always in the loop. Here's the part nobody's talking about, and this is crucial. Even with the tax eliminated and the registry potentially shut down, state laws still apply. If you live in a state that bans suppressors outright, like California or Illinois, this federal change doesn't override that state ban. You still can't legally possess a suppressor in those states unless their laws change too. Same goes for SBRs in states with assault weapon bans that include barrel length restrictions. Federal law sets the floor, but states can still add their own restrictions on top of it. That said, there's a silver lining. When federal law shifts this dramatically, it creates pressure on state legislatures to follow suit. We've already seen this with concealed carry laws. As more states adopted shall issue permits, the holdout states faced increasing political pressure to change. The same thing could happen here. If 45 states allow tax-free suppressors and only 5 ban them outright, those 5 states start to look more and more unreasonable. Lawsuits get filed. Public opinion shifts. Change happens. Third major point you need to understand is how this affects the market right now. Gun shops and manufacturers are in a weird limbo period. Some dealers are still collecting the $200 tax because the law hasn't officially taken effect yet. Others are offering to hold your application until the tax block kicks in so you don't have to pay. If you're shopping for a suppressor or SBR right now, ask your dealer what their policy is. Some might even offer refunds or credits if you pay now and the law changes before your application is approved. Get everything in writing. Manufacturers are also making strategic decisions. Some are expanding their NFA product lines because they expect demand to skyrocket. Others are staying cautious until they see how implementation actually works. What this means for you is that now might be the perfect time to research what you want, build your wish list, and be ready to buy the moment the tax block goes live. Don't wait until everyone else figures it out and inventory gets cleaned out. Here's what could go wrong, because we need to be realistic. Legal challenges are almost guaranteed. Anti-gun groups will argue that Congress overstepped its authority or that eliminating the tax violates some obscure administrative law. Courts could issue injunctions that delay implementation. The ATF itself might drag its feet on updating forms and procedures. None of this means the law won't stick, but it does mean you need to stay informed every step of the way. And that's exactly why this channel exists. This information could literally change your rights by the end of this year. Subscribe now because my next 3 videos will cover exactly which suppressors to buy first, how to navigate state laws, and what happens if the registry shutdown passes. You don't want to miss any of that. Hit subscribe right now. Let me give you the action steps you need to take today. First, contact your representatives in Congress and tell them you support the registry shutdown bill. This is critical. Legislation lives or dies based on constituent pressure, and if gun owners stay silent, the anti-gun lobby will drown us out. Find your representative's contact info online, send an email, make a phone call, and let them know this matters to you. Second, start planning your purchases. Research suppressors and SBRs now so you're ready to act when the tax block takes effect. Third, check your state laws. Know exactly what's legal where you live so you don't accidentally run afoul of local restrictions. Fourth, follow this channel for updates. I'm monitoring the situation daily, and I'll break down every new development the moment it happens. Here's the bottom line. We're witnessing the biggest shift in NFA law in 90 years. The $200 tax that kept millions of Americans from exercising their rights is gone. A complete registry shutdown could be next. This is the moment Second Amendment advocates have been fighting for since 1934, and it's happening right now in real time. But none of it matters if you don't stay informed and take action. So here's my final ask. Subscribe to this channel right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because by the time you hear about these changes from mainstream media or your buddy at the range, it'll be too late to take advantage of them. I'm putting out follow-up videos this week that will answer every question you have about how to navigate this new landscape. You need to see those videos. Your rights depend on it. And one more thing. Share this video with every gun owner you know. Text it to your shooting buddies. Post it in your gun groups. The more people who understand what's happening, the stronger our position becomes. Knowledge is power, and right now, we've got the knowledge that could reshape gun rights for the next century. This is the moment. Don't let it pass you by. Subscribe, stay informed, and get ready to exercise your rights like never before.